do you personally have an experience that you think was supernatural or unexplained?
Yes, absolutely. And it's one of those ones that's you know, it's not like anything super intense. It's very like almost like Ghost Adventures level. But I remember I was playing Manhunt with my buddies. We were probably 18 because we didn't stop doing that until college. I wish I could go back. I miss those days. But we had a neighborhood, like 6 houses that belonged to all of our families, and we would just play out in those backyards. And there was this one abandoned house that was right next to my buddy Tommy's place, and nobody ever went in the yard because it was trespassing and whatever. One night I decided I was going to hide back there, and I'd watch everybody kind of run past me. I'm like, all right, I'm definitely alone back here. And as I had been walking in to the backyard, there was a plastic lawn chair on the driveway. And I just remember like taking note of that and continuing along. I'm hiding in the corner. And I'm looking into the opposite yard, not paying attention to what's behind me. And I just hear something, you know, like scatter across the ground. And I turn around behind me, and the chair is like across the driveway. And also at this point, it occurred to me that it felt a little chillier than it had 5 minutes ago. And we all thought this house was haunted. We'd always kind of had that vibe about it. It was always very unsettling to be near it. And so, of course, you know, I turn around and I'm like, I'll just tell the ghost to fuck off and go back to my business. So being 17, 18, that's exactly what I did. I yell, you know, hey.
We went straight to ghost, not fox or cat.
Oh, yeah.
Or breeze.
It was way too big of a chair.
The breeze is adding up real. It's chilly.
It wasn't a breeze. It wasn't a breeze. It got colder.
I got 3 votes.
But no, but that wasn't that. Why did that computer just turn on?
I don't mean to ruin the story, but Kyle, one time I used to keep chapstick in my pocket. Yeah. And then it wasn't there.
Fuck! Demon!
Dude, Woody, did I ever tell you dude, this happened just last night. I wasn't that tired.
Where's this going?
I closed my eyes for a split second. 10 hours went by.
Fuck! Aliens!
You explain that.
I can't.
So we all laugh. We all think it's very funny. Aidan's hopping to the ghost thing. The part is, I yell "fuck off" to the ghost, and I to this day I swear it. I mean this. I heard every door in the house slam shut. And I
the breeze! 4 for 4!
I look up in the window. I look up in the window in the very upper, the attic window, and I'm like, and I
you do not want to take this to court with me, sir.
I saw a person. I heard all the doors slam. That's the one that comes to mind first out of all of them.
I wish that
that's
I
a
had
spooky
seen something.
experience.
Like my whole childhood was spent watching supernatural, like clickbait shit. You know, before there were clicks. All those Fox News shows that were like. Every commercial break, they were just about to show you Bigfoot's pussy. Like,
Nazi aliens and how true it definitely is.
I'm talking about before that. This is pre-cable. Or pre-me having cable. This is when Fox would have these little like supernatural specials, and they talk about demons and ghosts and ghosts and whatnot. And I wanted it. Yeah, demon gooses.
Yeah, goose.
Okay. So what nature's just demons. Regular Canadian geese.
Like I'm open to it, and if I ever seen anything, I would be open enough to it to be like, oh shit, I think that's a warlock. I think I just saw one. We got one now, but that's never happened, and I don't know. Like I've been in like abandoned buildings, and I've spent so much time in the woods, like thousands of hours in the woods, and I've just never seen anything that I couldn't be like, Fox. The breeze.
My mind is completely closed to ghosts. I think it's absolute bullshit that there's
closed.
Never been one. I hereby challenge every ghost watching this show to come at me, you pussy fucks. Bring it, you ghost.
You know what? If I were
nothing will happen.
If I were like the way you said that you yelled out,
sports injury, because. That's
not with a sports injury.
No, you have to do
Woody's being assaulted by orthopedic demons.
There's infested with them.
Yeah, you need to chant the meniscus prayer so that you're safe. What I think you said that you like fuck you, demon or ghost or whatever. Yeah. I think because that is just gonna, if the ghost is real, it wants to upset you, it wants to scare you, right? And so I think. That's not actually the way to do it. Is you don't shout them down. What does a demon not want? Some fucking loser who's like obsessed with demons. And so like if you start acting like, oh, are you there, Lord Bill? Are you there, Lord Beelzebub? I was playing with my Ouija board and sacrificing cats, and then he's gonna be like, oh God. It's one of these ones. You know what? I'm going to find someone easy to scare. It's a fan. Like, that's
be an annoying fan to your demon, and he'll be gone.
Yeah,
it's
with a Ouija board.
Get in that demon's
Sign my soul.
Always be in his DMs, pestering him.
Be a Ouija.
Yeah, get a Ouija board. I remember as a kid, like, it's because like I went to church and stuff. My mom was like, "You can't play with the Ouija board." And it was never in my head, like, I want to play with it. Because I remember even seeing, like, the Hasbro commercials being like, that is the lamest toy. There's no score. How am I supposed to play this? Like, I don't care about that. But she was always like, don't you bring one of those home. And I'm like, it's not a problem. I have no money or ride. Like, I'm not going to make it out. I'm 8. Like, I remember, like, I don't know. She would tell me, like, don't play this at your friends' houses. And I'm like, what sort of losers do you think I'm running with?
What
like,
year was
You're
this?
9 years old. Don't ever drive a Ford.
This was probably 1998. And so it was like in the middle of, like, they were saying that Pokemon was demonic at the time. And like, I knew that was
90s,
silly and stupid.
The 90s religious
the religious scare, all that nonsense.
Luckily was born after.
Yeah. That was ridiculous. And I just always remember, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, those idiots thinking that Alakazam and Charizard are demonic. But in my head always, I was like, but that Ouija board thing, they seem like really upset by this. It was like way later in life that I gave it more thought. And I was like, oh, it's like kids pretending. Like, or usually I would imagine the most mature child manipulating it for the fear of others. Right.
Yeah.
When I was in college, they they would do little seances in the dorms and stuff. Someone would break out a Ouija board. I actually don't think I ever did one, but I'd hear about it and stuff. And the deal is, like, 6 people put their hand on that little Ouija thing. None of them claimed to be the one that initiated it towards the letter, but it doesn't take much for one person to make the slightest movement on this thing and everyone else to think a spirit is moving it. And
I did see something
with Ouija
like that.
Boards, it's very much like a collective, like, psychological thing where it starts moving in one direction. Everyone's like, oh, it's going here. And you just kind of all have the same response to it.
I remember there's one guy, he was on my swim team. His name was Dante. And they were asking this spirit questions about him. And all the answers were like the ones that would hurt his feelings. Yeah. And he was very hurt. It it wrecked him. And to this day, I don't know if it wrecked him because he felt like the ghost had an issue with him, or my theory that he realized 6 people had an issue with him.
I'm going with theory number 2.
Theory number 2 seems a bit more.
Although black people believe in ghosts
really happened.
4 times more than their Caucasian partners.
We got to pump those numbers up, guys.
4 times more often black people believe in ghosts.
I'm just picturing a guy like, they're like, is Dante gay? And he's like, and the other people are like, oh no, it's going towards yes. Yeah. I mean, like, I saw the same thing. Like, you're right with the pressure thing. It's got little tiny pressure points. So you're pushing down. You're not really pushing down. It'd be like 4 of us all trying to push down on an ice hockey puck on the ice all at once. It's going to move. Yeah. Like, it has to.
It had like little, not lubricated feet, but like, I don't know what to call them. Teflon feet.
Yeah. Slippery.
Like,
little gliders.
Non-stick.
Gliders. I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it just makes it prone to sort of moving around on the board.
No, I like it.
I've never taken most of the stories I hear about Ouija boards too seriously. It's it's always been and for me, my field of study, I went to school for medieval studies. I got a minor in religious studies, and kind of folklore and demonology and all of that has always been interesting to me. So that was something that I looked into a ton. And what I found was with a lot of the demonology stuff, the idea that just using a Ouija board is going to summon some sort of you're going to get like Apollyon hanging out in your living room doesn't really track with any of even the established demonology lore from thousands and thousands of years ago. But what does happen is if you go in there and you go in with somebody who has the intention of summoning something, that's where the possibility works its way in terms of the actual belief system behind this stuff. Intent is far more important in demonology than
if I thought I could raise a demon, I would.
But you don't really think you can. You don't really believe it. And so in the thought of people who studied demonology, they'd be like, well, You don't.
Bailey,
you didn't want the demon.
That theory is often why I thought that my magic powers weren't working.
You didn't believe enough.
If I just believed more, I would fly. I'll try it again.
You're just a heretic.
No, I like that theory. I like that. That's why magic doesn't work, except for a small group of people who are stupid enough to believe in magic. So all wizards are just morons.
Something interesting about, like, you know, the term demon and all of that. A lot of people have like this Hollywood idea of what that means, that it's some sort of like evil spirit, or I think in the TV show Supernatural, they make the argument that it's a human soul that's been twisted to be evil or promised some sort of power. In the Bible, you know, the term demon doesn't actually, there's no term for demon in Hebrew. You have to get into the Greek, the Septuagint, so the Greek translation of the Old Testament, or into the New Testament, where they're also writing it down in Greek. And then you get the word daimon, which is the one that actually refers to this. And even in Greek mythology, this is a class between God and man. So in Judaism and Christianity, demons are usually referenced by a term similar to like evil spirit. And what you come to conclude as you actually go in and make, you know, these deeper readings of some of these, I don't want to call them esoteric, but some of the less upfront books, like in Genesis, it's very much like God said, let there be light. And then you get to like Deuteronomy or Numbers, where they start talking about the evil spirits and the princes and the abomination of Moab, Chemosh. And what you start to discover is demons in the Bible are not like this low powered thing. They're whole ass angels. Like they are fallen angels. So you have, for example, in Daniel, I think it's Daniel 10:14. This guy encounters an angel. Daniel encounters an angel, and the angel says, "Sorry, it took me so long to get here. I was held up by the Prince of Persia." And who he's talking about there is not Cyrus the Great. He's talking about the angel responsible for Persia, the Elohim responsible for Persia. So
I was going to guess Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's where I'm saying.
And then what he says after that is that, you know, he was stuck there until the chief prince Michael came and helped him out. So there's like all this really interesting lore in there about like the interactions between angels and demons and the term prince that gets used. So what you find is a lot of people have this concept that demons are some sort of separate thing from angels. No, in the Bible, it says on multiple occasions like that the demons, the evil spirits, are the princes of these other kingdoms. Yeah,
that always made sense to me, because obviously, you know, Satan was an angel who had fallen, and he had that big war with God. So, I mean, he had a bunch of angels, like a third of the angels left with him, or something like
Revelation.
That. So he loses, and they all get cast down to hell, and they become demons. But I don't know why they would look any different. But the thing I always liked, and I really enjoyed that miniseries on Netflix called Midnight Mass.
Yeah, that was a good one.
The quote from the Bible that, you know, that when you see them, you will be terrified. The Bible tells us this. So when they see that fucking angel / demon / vampire, they are fucking, it's like, oh my God, it's 8 feet tall and it looks like the devil. Yeah, we're all terrified. It has wings.
Almost every time they show up, it's like, be not afraid. And they're like, I'm fucking afraid right now.
I of all the made up things that I've read some of, the Bible's one of the more interesting of them. It's there's some good stuff in there. Everything else is based off of it, right? Like if you look at like Tolkien was great with the elves and all the languages and the races that he invented with the dwarves and the fucking elves. But even his shit is based on the old text from the Bible, and that's based on some stuff for Zoroastrianism before it.
Zoroastrianism is actually later.
Later than like
Judaism.
Jehovah.
Yeah. So Judaism. So there's a large amount of contention on this at the moment. When were the first books of the Old Testament written down? Because the oldest extant copies we have date to the Babylonian exile, so the 6th century BC. But a lot of the accounts that are conveyed in, for example, Exodus, talk about things that happened 600 years prior to that. I was doing some work in prep for the Weird Bible podcast, which is with Wendigoon, and I think I've accurately dated the Exodus to 1206 BC. because there's mention of a solar eclipse. There's mention of
I got a feeling you're the only one who thinks Zoroastrianism didn't come first.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not the only one who thinks that. But
yeah,
even
too.
So early,
I'll throw my hat in that ring.
The earliest, so it's similar to Judaism.
I'm going with Aidan to keep it even.
The earliest extant accounts of Zoroastrian belief date to about 600 BC, as do the earliest extant biblical accounts. Now, it is possible that because these two peoples, the two religions, the Jews and the Zoroastrians, both were part of the Persian Empire.
You're telling me Mr. White in 10th grade may have misled me.
Yes.
Was lying through his teeth intensely.
But it's the thing. So Zoroastrians traditionally will date their religion to be back to 2000 BC, but so will the Jews.
Of course,
and they're at the same point where they both have the artifacts, the documentation to back up to about 600 BC. But there was a little tablet discovered on Mount Ebal in Israel back in, I think it was February or March, and it has on it written, the curse of Jehovah be upon you, Jehovah curse you, all that. It's written in Hebrew. It's a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter copper tablet. And the thing, it's tentatively dated to about 1200 BC. In Deuteronomy,
and it's in the Bible.
Yeah, in Deuteronomy, it says put a curse on Mount Ebal, which, like, the likelihood that this tablet that is this big, that somebody knew about that 600 years later and accurately put it in there, it seems very unlikely to me. And I'm not saying that Judaism is the oldest religion in the world or the first one in the world, but it's one of those things where you look at it and it's like, damn,
they got a good PR team.
That's old. Like,
so I mean, I don't hear any Zoroastrians ever.
They're mostly in Persia. Yeah, they're mostly Iranian.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a dead religion. They didn't do that anymore.
No, there are still Zoroastrianisms out there. There's still Zoroastrians out there. And it's a fascinating religion. It's very cool. I think that Tolkien probably took a little bit from Zoroastrianism when he was writing the Silmarillion, because the story that you get in the Silmarillion is that Eru Ilúvatar was, singing the world into existence with all of his Valar and all that. And then Morgoth comes in with the discord, and he can't create of his own will, but he can twist the creations of Eru Ilúvatar. And Ahura Mazda and Azura Mainyu, I think, is the darkness. It's a dualist religion. It's the same structure where Ahura Mazda can create things, and then Azura Mainyu can only twist things. He can only, and then he can't
forever. Right? It's the sun and the moon all over again. Like I feel like every religion started.
There's a lot of dualism. Most religions are dualistic.
I mean, you can see a ton of that with Tolkien, like that. And he took it from Christianity too, because his big thing was like, oh, evil can't create; it can only twist and corrupt. That's why the orcs are twisted and corrupted and ruined souls of elves, like that kind of thing.
So Tolkien was just kind of a bullshit plagiarist and not very good.
He was stealing from those Zoroastrians.
God damn it!
Son of a bitch.
I mean, it's the same classic. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything is a reconstruction of something prior. Like, it's about, how you can put it together and can you make it entertaining? Because I doubt that anybody is going to sit there and read through the Zoroastrian texts and be as into it as you would be with Tolkien. And honestly, with him, it's the linguistics is what makes Tolkien so incredibly impressive. This guy just sat there and designed a whole bunch of languages for a world that didn't exist. To me, that's the really fascinating thing about the guy.